The iMac G3 and Power Mac G3 models are iconic when it comes to Apple and the Power PC. Their bright colors and wonderful architecture is a joy to behold. So the question is, what the hell is this? My name is JSP, this is my tech department, Los Gates.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
1997 brought with it a huge amount of change. It would be a seminal year for Apple. With the return of former CEO Steve Jobs, he, together with Johnny Ive, would go on to develop the iMac G3, which saved Apple from bankruptcy. There's no two ways about that. Later on, they would design the first Power Mac G3, the blue and white, and that happens to be one of my favorite Apple computers of all time. However, also in 1997 came this, the Power Macintosh G3. Why exactly it was built? Well, probably it was just in the production line and they had to get it out. But really, I think it proves everything that was wrong with Apple at the time. It's beige. This case design is the same as the 6100 level of Power Macintosh machines that started the Power PC range. It's boring, bland, and interesting to look at. Well, more or less, but that doesn't mean there's not a few interesting things to find on this machine. Now, I spent 20 euros for both the machine and the monitor, so that's interesting enough. Should tell us something. And whilst I have tested it, I'll go through it here. We get power on the monitor, and I'm going to do a soft power boot, and we get a good chime. So the machine actually does work, except where it doesn't. There's our screen, and as you can see, we've got a screen loading up. There's our mouse cursor. Do we get? Yep. So our mouse is working fine. What we don't get is an operating system booting in. Now, I know there's a hard drive in here. I also know that when I've tried to do anything with the CD-ROM, it's no-go. So we're going to today strip this machine down and discover a few of its little interesting quirks and foibles, and learn a little bit more about the weird Power Macintosh G3. Come on. The first Power Mac G3 Desktop arrived in November 1997, a full 6 months or so before the first iMac G3. The model we have here, however, is the much newer and somewhat sought after 300 MHz model. This was the top of the range and released in March 1998. It featured a zip drive, a CD-ROM, as well as a floppy drive and a 6GB hard drive. Around the back you have the usual SCSI external port, a ADB port, a modem which is quite a nice feature to have, serial and parallel port in the usual micro-DIN style, and a 15-pin Apple Display port. Joining that, there is the weird and wonderful personality card. Now these came in 3 different flavors from what I can understand, and this one happens to be the base model. It's sound in and sound out. Alongside the personality card, we actually have 3 add-on cards as well. There is what appears to be a VGA card, also what appears to be a capture card or RF in card, plus 2 USB 1 ports. Finally, we can see the spec of this machine, and I suspect that this has had a few upgrades beyond this spec, although that 6GB hard drive is still in there. To the machine is going to be tricky. It's toolless, which is good, but this comes from an era where plastics have now become quite brittle, so I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out. I'm hoping it's going to be okay, but I suspect that as we go along, bits of plastic are going to break with very little force required. So let's get into it and start the B-roll. Okay, so to get in there, first of all, we need to take the front off, and there are 2 buttons here and here. And then what? Oh, this one is jammed. This is a good start, so let's go. That's great. And that one's broken. That's one, people. That's one. There we go. Right, well, we've popped the hood. Now to get the rest of it off. In theory, it should do that. We're in. Oh, good news, I didn't break the clip. Right, we're in, and it is a sea of plastic in here. And yeah, this is horribly yellow. Now, the idea is we have some clips here that... right, that's just supposed to lift up. That's already broken. This bodes well. But already we can see the inside the machine, and we have... well, we have good news. Let me show you. So we do have good news. Someone has taken out the battery. This is fantastic news because it means that there's less likely to be any battery damage in this chassis. Excellent. We also have a couple of extra cards, as we saw from the outside. Yes, we have what appears to be a 4Mac card, which I think is some sort of video card. There's another video card behind it. And on top of that, we have a USB 1 card. So yeah, this is a machine that was pretty nicely spec'd out. So let's start by taking those cards out and continue our disassembly, shall we? Right, our remaining card is what's known in Apple parlance as a personality card. Now, this was kind of a thing that was introduced for some reason with this range. I think the Power Mac 5500 had them, the Molar Macs had them. Basically, the add-on cards you could specify when you're purchasing to produce, to provide you with various ports. This one is just a basic sound card. You could get ones that had AV in and AV out. I think there were networking options. There were lots of options, but the thing was you had to choose one, and it took up one of your 4 ports available in the machine. Well, it took up the 1 port in the machine. The rest are all PCI, I think. But let's get that out, and like I said, continue stripping the machine back. Now, this machine is quirky, and ideally it's set up to be toolless. Now, one of the things to do is to remove this clip, which in theory lets us take the drive bay out. Don't know if it'll work yet. There's another clip up here. So I'm going to detach that as well. Oh yeah, that definitely didn't sound like it was going to shatter. Yeah, and oh, look at that. Oh, that's cool. So we can prop it up. That's cool. That's also disgusting. Ew. Okay, so we've propped it up. We've got access to the inside of the machine. So Apple could do some good work if they wanted. Let's have a look at what we've got inside. Okay, I gotta be honest, I kind of love this thing. It is weird. Like, what the hell is that supposed to be with a bunch of capacitors on it plugged into something? We'll find out, but it looks odd. It looks like we have 2 sticks of RAM plus a ROM board. That's so ROM and 2 sticks of RAM. The RAM does not match, so that's fantastic. Our hard drive is definitely original though, so that's something. I love the little prop stand here that's actually not doing a damn thing, but you know, good on it. It's, you know, it's fine. Yeah, let's get that motherboard over because that looks disgusting, and I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, this is the power supply fan. Ew, 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 ew. Yeah, let's continue the disassembly, shall we? Okay, so to get the hard drive out, apparently we have to release some tabs back or something. No? Oh, this side maybe? Oh dear. Oh, I got a bad feeling about this. No? Let me consult the manual. Okay, so apparently we have to pull up the release tab, which is here. Ah, do you see what I mean? That's a problem. Again, brittle plastics, and it's just broken the minute you try and use it, which also makes it really difficult for us to now release this drive. Oh dear. Yeah, that's not gone well. Yeah, so the drive came out. As you can see, the plastic is just shot. I'm gonna have to make a brand new caddy for this. But given the drive isn't working anyway, I suspect it'll be a case of getting some blue scuzzies in there and 3D printing. And oh look, grime. That surely hasn't helped you. Well, let's try and disconnect these drives anyway and see these cables, and let's see if we can get the rest of it out without too much hassle. Restoring this could be a lot more difficult than I anticipated, that's for certain. One, come on. Two. At least that was easy. Okay. Well, let's take these out. These go to the front panel, looks for it for power. And they come out relatively easy. Now then, given this ball has been held in by plastic everywhere else, what do you think the odds are that it's held in by plastic now? By the way, I didn't disconnect this one because it's already disconnected. See, it's here. Nevertheless, let's actually take that off. But yeah, what do you think the odds are that this is going to come away nice and simple? I'm going to say not good. Okay, so manual says remove this first, which is some kind of thing. The moment it seems intact, certainly don't think it's broken. He says hopefully, but it does say I have to take this out. I think. What was that? Oh, Lord. That would be the chassis flying open. And that's just spinning around. Okay, so the motherboard is out and everything's fine. Let's turn our attention to this top bit, which I am dreading because, again, I suspect there's a lot of pull tab action going on here. This being one of them. Let's start with the floppy drive. See. Yes. The tab there. That one's gone. Oh, there you go. Oh, that wasn't even plugged in. Okay. Sure, that's fine. Right, now then. Can we, I suppose we remove this. Somehow. Somehow there's probably going to break. There's a clip there, definitely. Where's my, oh, it looks like there was a clip here that's broken. Yeah, there's one. To this side. Two. I think that's it, just comes out. No? There we go. All right. Well, I mean, it's 99% intact, so we'll take that for the win. How about our zip drive, right? Kind of nervous. There's another tab underneath there and a tab underneath there. Let's check the manual. Okay, so CD-ROM drive, pull tab, and what? Push tab up, and it happened. Well, there goes the zip drive one. Pull up release tab and slide CD-ROM forward. All right. There it goes. However, I actually managed to stay intact. Good. Cable out. Go on the CD drive. And now there's, and then there's mode. How do you come out of there? Well, there's this. This case is in bad shape. Well, it's empty. This will be the tab for the zip drive. Yay, that. Only thing left to do now, let's get that power supply out because that desperately needs stripping and cleaning, and that's going to be fun. And then I feel like I'm going to have to take a nice segue into our sponsors, like PCBWay, because there's going to be a lot of 3D printing needed here to repair this board. Well, repair the mounting points for this board. So, let's talk about PCBWay. We all know that PCBWay make fantastic PCB boards, starting from just $5, and include things like, well, getting a replacement board for this old ZX Spectrum. What happens if your 3D printer isn't up to the task? Or you're having a little trouble with your CNC machine? Then look no further than PCBWay. In fact, if you can design it, PCBWay can help make it a reality. PCBWay, way more than just PCBs. For more information, check out the link in the description below. Alright, Deloitte, let's crack on and, well, crack on being the operative word with this one. Let's see if we can get this power supply out. This is the home stretch. Now I can definitely see that these two screws need to come out. Sorry, this one screw needs to come out. Wow, okay. There we go. Then what do we do? Oh, is that it? That's it? Okay, so that turned out to be like the easiest thing to take out. All we've got to do now is just get got underneath and feed the cables through. But yeah, that was an easy one. And there we are. I've actually managed to take it all apart. It wasn't easy. I've got quite a few cuts and scrapes on there. But yeah, it's apart. Now, let's get it cleaned up. Well, in a minute. I'm going to have a cup of tea first. And then I'm going to start by cleaning that power supply and slowly putting this back together once everything else is cleaned. It's going to be a long job. Anyway, los geht's. Okay, people, so one cup of tea later and we're ready to open this power supply. Now, a word of warning. If you are uncomfortable with high voltages, do not open a power supply. Do not take anything I say as a tutorial here. I know what I'm doing when it comes to this kind of thing, and even I'm worried about opening power supplies. Now, even though this has been unplugged and is not currently working, capacitors can still hold a good charge, and you can still get quite an electric shock if you touch the capacitors inside. So if you're uncomfortable in any way, shape or form in opening these, don't. That's the simple answer to it, just don't. However, we do need to open this because look at this. This is disgusting. The fan is there. That's gross. And I need to check to see if there's any cap damage. This machine comes from that wonderful era in time where if the caps aren't leaking now, they will do. And chances are they have. This power supply is working. Maybe it's reliable. I don't know with this kind of machine, but either way, we need to get inside and take a look. So let's see if we can do that. So at the moment, I can see we've got screws here. So let's start there. As you can see, I'm wearing some black gloves because, yeah, this is just going to get messy. There we go. On there. Also note I have a nice new blue silicone mat. Honestly, I didn't want the blue one, but this is so nice. It came with something else I bought, and it's so nice. And actually, I can see things easier on it. So it's a nice finish. There's another one there. Good grief. thing is, a lot of these power supplies, they're in machines that are never expected to be working 30 years later. So the result is that you're not really thought about for servicing. Although this seems okay so far. Come on. Oh. Tight. Here we go. So everything there. I'm going to imagine I'm going to need to take that off as well. We'll see about the fan. But let's see if it does anything at the moment. So. Okay, there's definitely movement there. Yeah, oh, alright, there we are, that'll help. Still need like this slides out and off. So let's see. Oh, there we go. See? One side. And I'm being very careful to make sure I don't touch anything. Come on. Where'd you go? It's looking good. Come on. Come on, you're doing it. There we go. One side. Maybe we just need to free up this bit a little. Oh, we're sort of there. All right. And I can see that there are plugs in there to release this fan if I need to. So right now it's just cabling. That's not coming out. Yeah, we definitely need to get that fan out there. So let's see if I can get a pliers in there or something. There we go. All right. And oh God. Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah. So what we're seeing here is an accumulation of 20 plus years of dirt. No doubt. Let's get a closer look. Yeah, just take a look at that. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. It's all dirt and detritus, just dust mostly. Yeah, ew. So let's get that cleaned up. Generally though, doesn't seem too bad. There are no signs of cap leakage and certainly no signs of cap bulging. Because if any of them are going to go, it's probably going to be these. But they all look okay. Yeah. Let's see if we can just clear out the detritus. What the hell is that? Well, see, now that's not good. Give me a minute and I'll show you. But that shouldn't be like that. Right, somewhat alarmingly, that was loose in the case. It's not good. So, yeah, we'll just put that by somewhere and move on. Well, that was disgusting. But I do have now the power supply cleaned out, and I'm very pleased to note that it doesn't actually look like I need to take the board out. Everything looks in order, which is great, because that means we can just put this back together, cleaned up, and hopefully not have any more problems. So let's get this back together and start on the next thing that needs cleaning, shall we? All right, let's have a look at the motherboard. And actually, considering there are electrolytics on the board, they don't seem to have leaked. They actually look in good condition, which Well, frankly, I'm shocked at. These things normally leak. I'm debating whether to change them, but if they don't look terrible and there's no signs of corrosion, I'm not gonna change them. But since we're here, let's take a sneaky look at what's going on. So, actually, do you know what's really weird? Do you know what? I'll pull out the microscope, and you can see under the microscope how weird this board is to a certain extent. Because whilst I am looking at electrolytics and going, oh, look, they haven't leaked, there are a number of tantalum caps on this board anyway. So why did Apple mix and match? Why didn't they just use all tantalums? Because that's probably what I would do now if I was making, recapping this board. I'd replace those electrolytics with the tantalum. So yeah, very odd behavior. But nonetheless, the board is in good condition. Just need to get the bits of dust off it. We'll take a closer look under the microscope now. So the thing that's really interesting me is this thing. I don't know what this is. Let's take it out. Fairchild Semiconductor. Okay. RCB 10 VRM for Power PC. So it's a voltage regulator module. That's interesting. I've never seen that put out on a separate thing before, so it looks fine. There's no sign of cap leakage, anything like that. Let's put that down to it being an interesting quirk of the Power PC. There's our ROM module. Let's take a look at our Power PC module itself though. Okay, so this is the module. Now then, I'm going to take it out. So let's have a look. What appears to be here. Oh, the heatsink has to come off first. Great. So let's take a look. Well, since I need to take it out, then what I need to do is just pop that off. Is it this side that needs to come off? It's going to be the other side. Push down. They never make these things easy, do they? Right. Alright, so it's the old. God, I missed these, I don't know. So it's the old push down and pull. So there we go. Do that. And then hopefully. There we go. Oh, it's. Well, I didn't expect that. That's weird. So now, you'd normally expect that you have to put some little thermal grease on here, and I mean, whatever this is hard. But yeah, there's no heatsink compound. How bizarre. Now then, do I put that back on or not? Kind of think I should probably just leave it as is. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think it's safe to put a little bit of heatsink compound? I imagine this will just clean off with a little IPA. Let's try a little corner, shall we? Where's my IPA? Oh, there it is, right? IPA, cotton swab. Yeah, I mean, it's heatsink compound. It's hard. I don't know. So the dye is just there, and it's just got no. Given that I don't know what I don't know on this one, maybe I'll pop that back on, and we'll worry about that at a later date. Yes, let's do that, I think. So let's pop this back in there. This one was around the front, so. Okay. There we go. But what do you think? Should I, is it worth actually just cleaning that off? Kind of feel like I want to, but that's because I'm used to other PCs, so, Let me know what you think in the comments below. Alright, so last job I want to tackle for the day before I head home for some dinner is take a look at this CD drive. Now, it made noises, it's spinning up, and it was actually moving a disk. The problem is it's not actually loading anything, so I need to check whether or not that's actually a problem with a belt slipping, which I don't think it is, but you never know, or whether it probably just needs cleaning. Having looked at the rest of this machine, I think we know the answer to that one. What I don't know the answer to is, what did I do with my screwdriver? Oh dear God, yeah. I have lost my screwdriver. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Right, now this is one of the few intact points of plastic, so I'm going to try and keep it intact. So let's see how we get on with that idea. Should be fine. But I think the best thing with a lot of the plastics on this, if they're available, I'm just going to get some fresh reprints with plastic and see if we can replace these, because if this one hasn't broken now, it will break at some point. So let's get some new plastic in there to hold it steady, because I mean that's not going to be long. Okay, so we'll take that there, that goes there. Now let's take off the top. So I'm going to work on the principle that hopefully it's just these 4 screws, and that other one there that I'm looking at doesn't need to come off. That's just holding a board in place. What do you think my chances are? I'm going to say they're probably not good. There's always a hidden screw somewhere. I mean, there's nothing there, nothing there. Nothing at the back. I don't want to take that screw out, but I will. Maybe slightly separate there. Right. Okay, so if I push there gently, maybe we can take this off. So let's just. Yeah, okay. So look then. There we go. It's a start. It's a start. So I feel like that wants to come off. Again, don't want to force it. Hang on. Come on. All the other bits are out. Just you being a bit stubborn. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe we can get this off. Let's come back to it when I've got this open, shall we? Okay, so we're in the drive. Took a little bit of working out, but it's all good. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that laser. It looks fine. So I'm just going to gently give it a little wipe. Yep, that looks fine there. Don't know if still don't know if it's working or not, but we'll find out. I'm also going to use this just to clean up this area here. The spindle. The other thing I think we're going to need to do, we need to grease these rails, obviously. Now, normally I would use grease, silicone grease with it, not silicone grease, so I would use lithium grease, but silicone oil is better, so I'm just going to use some of that. Put some oil as well, silicone oil on the few parts here and there, because it'll help out, but generally it's not too bad. The only place where I'm seeing a rubber belt is on the in and out, and whilst that is a little wobbly, it's actually working fine. So yeah, generally it's just grease up the bits that need greasing up, and we'll put it back together and we'll find out if it works later on. But generally, yeah, not too bad. There, look at that. Right. So let's get the grease off there, shall we? Some IPA. Trouble is, these things, the grease, if left alone, kind of just disintegrates and clogs up and gets actually sticky when it should be much looser. So yeah, so there we go. It's all nicely cleaned up. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to get some of this, which is silicone oil. There you go. And I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray it onto a cotton swab and add from there. So there we go. Let's grease up the wheel. I do like using the silicone oil. It's so easy to get onto things, and it does make things very slippery. So that's good, and it doesn't destroy plastic, which is the other reason to use it. So I'm going to do the same now just for that bit. So here, so let's do that. There we go. So that's not going to cause any problems with the plastics. Yeah, that's nice and free-flowing. Great. Right, I will just finish up these little bits and pieces and we'll put this back together. Okay, with the CD-ROM drive sorted, let's take a look at this floppy drive, because I imagine it's going to be in pretty much the same state as our other one. So there's only 2 screws to undo on the top of this one, so let's do that. Hopefully it's not going to be too dirty in there. Okay, so let's put that there. Oh, yeah, okay, we're going to need to clean it. So let's just get... Wow, there's a lot of this. And good news, that's got in with the grease on that wheel, so yay. There's some more here I can see. Honestly, the fact this machine powered on is a miracle. Okay, there's some more. Right. More there. So how do we get the mechanism out? So I would really like to. So look. These seem like case screws to me, so I don't think they do anything. They're just positioning screws. Right underneath. Circuit board's there. Curiouser and curiouser. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Alright, so I spent a little time poking around, and I am actually no closer than I was when I started. This is a very, very different drive to what I'm used to, but what I can see is a few screws. So we've got one down there. I'm not touching these because that looks like it's to do with the heads. There's another one down there, and hopefully we can just take this out and then separate it up. I hope. Let's see. Take that out. Let's get to the other one. I think I'm going to have to trigger the drive to close. So there we go. Maybe? No? Yeah, okay, so I don't think that's going to work as a viable plan either, because I can't really get that screw there. There has to be a way to unlock this, I just can't work it out. Yeah, because normally there's a way you can just sort of spring these out and they move forward, and this whole top piece should just come off. I mean, it's not tricky or anything, it's just working out where it connects. Give me a minute, I'll get back to you. All right, there we go. It was just a little prying just to release them from either side, and then, yeah. And this drive is disgusting, absolutely disgusting. So I think we're gonna have to get some cotton buds and whatnot, and yeah, we're gonna have to crack on with that. But oh my God, it is horrible in here, absolutely horrible. Okay, so where are my cotton buds? Ah, right next to me, convenient. So what I might do actually first, I'm going to take an anti-static brush and I'm just going to take out, I mean, look at this. I thought that was actually yellow. It's not, it's just filled with dust. Let's get some of the worst of it out, I think, at least. Or at the very least, I've moved it around. Let's get some of this on here. Oh, God. It is gross. Tell you what, why don't you watch this in high speed while I torture myself for the next however long this is going to be, and see if we can get this. Let's just say I'll see you at the end of this, okay? Oh, God. That's good. Yeah, good. All right, with that done, now I have to grease this wheel. Now, I know some people will use silicone grease, which is great. I'm actually going to use silicone oil, which I find quite good. Problem is the cap is broken on it, so that's always a pain. There we go, a nice bit of silicone oil there. This will coat that wheel up lovely. It's so good, I can't physically now touch it. Careful. jumping off the track, do we? Let's send that down there. And back. Yeah, so that's nicely greased up. Good. I could just get a second bit and I'm just going to put it in the old place here and there where parts rub. So I'm just going to put a little tiny drop on here. A little bit there as well. I'll just make sure it always slides nicely. There we go. Heads have all been cleaned, so all I need to do now is just put this back together. So, let's see. So it was there. Well, one of them is dropped in beautifully. The other one, not so much. Let's see if we can get the one that does one for me. First. Yep. This way we get a little primer and just give it a little nudge maybe. There we go. Yeah. Let's get back to it once I've got this clipped in, so you don't have to see the horror I just have to do. Right, well that's the drive refurbish. It actually wasn't too bad to get in the end. It just needed a bit of realignment, so we have no idea whether that's going to work. One last thing I do want to do, I just want to... Well, that's not good. Now I've got to find out what that's off. Ugh. So it turns out a little metal piece that surprised me. That was just where I took the skirt and forgot to put it back in. It's just a little bracket that goes over the drive rail at the back. Let's put that screw back in. There we go. Helps keep the drive level. See? Wonderful. Perfect. Right, back together again. Now I'll see if actually I can show you how I got it back in. It should actually go back in fine now that the driver's sled is retracted. If I do this, and then gently sort of do that, back pops in, and then it's just a matter of dealing with getting the front here. There we go. And yeah, there we are. Check that mechanism still works. Lost the switch. There we go. So there, and then hopefully that should release. Doesn't seem to want to now though. I get the feeling it's back to the old drawing board, but I feel like that's genuinely in the right position. Ah, there we go. It just does that. So it pushes that out of the way. All right. Okay, well, this one's done. On to the next piece. One more drive to service. Although I will say I am not 100% certain on how well this will go because it's a zip drive. Now this is a very nice machine by the looks of it. Had a lot of upgrades, but I have never serviced a zip drive. I don't have any zip disks, but I don't want to leave it dirty if I can help it. So let's tear it apart a bit and see if we can sort it out. Notice this one's got most of its rails still intact. I have a plan for getting new ones, but I'll talk about that a little later. First, let's just get this one off and see how we get on. Okay, I mean, I've done that now, and it probably would have just been easier to take this off anyway. Need a better screwdriver. One moment, please. Right, better screwdriver found. So, So I've never had the experience of using one of these. At the very least, I want to get the fascia off to give it a good clean because it's kind of gunky. So let's take it apart and see what we get. No real visible screws, which may be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. It looks like our fascia will pop off though, so that's good. So I'm just gonna do that. Oh look, there's some tape. Right, let's take the tape off. Obviously this is high-tech Apple tape, and in no way, shape or form some daft tape they've put on here because the stupid thing wouldn't stick there. No. Come on, here we go. High-tech Apple tape. See, look, it's silver. Right, oh god, there's the original color of the plastics. Oh my. Oof, that's rough. Okay, so let's just pop this here. If it is, yep. I'll pop this here. Right. I'm now going to just pop this in some water and let it soak for a while. There's nothing major in there, so I'm just going to pop that in some hot water or warm water with some soap and let it soak. Right, so with that soaking, let's see if we can see the drive. Honestly, from what I can see in there, and I don't know how clear that is, it looks really clean. I don't think that's supposed to be loose though. Well, maybe we can see if we can get in and at least fix that. Right, now, what I suspect is this just unclips on top, so right bar. Gently, of course. Yep. There we go. One side. And then on the other, do the same thing. I mean, that was a delight to get into. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't really look like it's ever been used. Let's clean it up with the gunk but there. I don't know if you can see this. It's kind of nasty bit of gunk but there, so I'll just get some IPA and a bit of cotton swab. Yeah, it's got this little rubber belt here or something. Fascinating things. Absolutely fascinating things. Okay, I think really this is just a little dust. As I say, I don't really have a drive I can use this on. You know, any discs I can use with it. This, I mean, it's unfortunate that's come loose. So what have we got? It's a little LED cover. That's all it is. So I assume the LEDs and they're there, because of course it is. And everything else seems like kind of pop-proofed in there, if that makes sense. There's one tiny thing there, which I'm not sure I'm going to get to. But my guess is this just slots over something. Let's see if we can get back in there. Just looking on the board. I think there's a gap. There we go. That's it. Zip drive. Honestly, quite an alien thing for me to look at. I have no bloody idea how this works. And until I get some actual zip drive discs, I probably won't for some time. Let's put this one back together. I think we can call that one done. What we need now is for the fascia to be finished. But for now, this goes on. Yeah, I could say that was almost a joy to work on if I knew I'd done anything, but yeah, okay. Thought I'd just show you the finished piece. That actually cleaned up beautifully. Look, it's even more or less the same color all the way along. I'm really happy with that. That turned out well. Hopefully the rest of the computer will come up this clean. Hopefully. To start reassembling the machine, I needed a few things. So I bought a 3D printer because this machine needed to handle all plastic required. So I printed out some new rails and a new bed for this. And don't worry about that. That's I'm a bit rusty and I forgot it needed support. And with that, it was time to reassemble the machine, and I will say that putting this machine back together was no easy task. For every cable I routed in the right direction, something went wrong. For every joint I managed to get in successfully, another piece of plastic managed to shatter or just generally fall apart in my hand. The biggest pain in the neck, getting this cantilever top on where the power supply and the disk drive sit. No matter what I did, the damn thing just kept falling out and continues to do so. It's really annoying. However, I was very pleased to discover that the little foot that it has to hold it up, well, that didn't break at all. And that's actually one of the few pieces of plastic on this machine that stayed together. Nonetheless, slowly and steadily, the machine began to look like it was coming together. So here we are, and the machine is back together, sort of. That's only good news, right? Well, obviously not. It turns out the cleaning process has upset our little machine here, which is a real shame because it looks really nice clean. Let me demonstrate. If I hit the power switch, power comes on, fan is running, the LED here does not light, the hard drive doesn't spin up, there's no chime, and there's no image on the screen. Oh dear. It turns out these machines are known to do this at the drop of a hat. They will just suddenly go, I've had enough, dead. And it seems that's what's happened. Now, I did consult the Apple service manual for this machine, and this is actually a known failure point where the LED doesn't light up, but we have the fan running. It generally means that power is getting to the machine, and I've checked the voltages, all the power is good, but the machine is not executing any code, so it's just kind of stuck. Now, the manual gives me 3 ideas of where to go with this. 1, it's the CPU. It's possible I did remove the heatsink, but I didn't remove the processor. Nonetheless, it suggested reseating the processor and making sure that handle was all the way down. I did that and, well, nada. 2 is the ROM. Now, Macs of this era have a ROM that sits on a separate card that looks a bit like a SIM card for memory, but it's not. It's a very specific ROM card, and it suggests I check that. So I took it out, cleaned it, made sure everything was okay, popped it back in, and, well, nada. The third thing it suggests is the VRM, or voltage regulating module. That's that tiny little card with the 4 caps on it we looked at. It's a bit weird, but I took it out, I checked all 4 of the caps. They're all within spec. None of them are leaking. It's fine as far as I can tell. Popped it back in and, well, nada. Hold your horses. It turns out, well, we're not done yet. Now, the other night, firstly, apologies. I was not meant to be on camera today. I'm in the tech department tidying up and finding room for a lot of new donations that have come in from various friends recently. There's no room, but come on, I've got some really cool stuff that's arrived, which I'm hoping to show you soon. But I was on the Steve Mac 84's Discord the other night, and I was talking to a few other Mac enthusiasts and discussing how the G3 Desktop has a habit of just going, and they said, well, did you try reseating the processor? Now, it turns out I didn't think I had actually removed the processor, but nonetheless, I came in today and thought, sure, what the hell? So I checked the machine, still doing its thing, so I took it apart, took the processor out, put some contact cleaner in there, popped the processor back in, and well, two things happened. One, the power button broke off, but the other thing, she chimes. Not only does she chime, she boots. It turns out that hard drive was actually faulty, despite the fact I know there is a version of OS X on there, 10.2. It just won't boot on this machine. I don't know why. There seems to be some problem with that drive. However, I do have a number of spare drives, and this one actually has Mac OS 9.2 on it. It's in German, so willkommen. And yeah, believe it or not, this machine is actually back in the land of the living. More or less. It doesn't have it to shut down, but I suspect I need to repaste that processor because I think it's probably shutting down because it's getting hot. However, what is really cool is sometimes these old machines, despite the fact they have all the indications they're done with life and they're moving on to the tech netherworld, well, sometimes they do actually come back and the fix is fairly simple. Well, on that note, all that's left to say now is thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, a share, a subscribe even. It helps out small channels like mine immensely. And all that's left to say is when it comes to old machines like this, remember to reuse, rediscover, and replay if you can. Because you never know, you might find your very own Power Mac G3 just waiting for a little bit of love and attention to come back to life. My name is Jesse. This has been my tech department. Cheers.